how to eliminate distractions when working from home. So there are several steps you can take to eliminate distractions when working from home. And if you want the written text of this, you can go to workington.com/blog. That's WERKINGTON.com and the blog section. So the first way is you can create a dedicated office space. You can actually signal your mind and body that it's time to work by having a dedicated workspace. That's right. By working in the same spot each day, you will send strong signals to your mind and body that it's time to get to work. If you can, have a dedicated home office where you can close the door to block noise distractions. If you're not in that position, at least have a dedicated workspace, such as the same chair at a table or the same sofa each day as you work. The next thing to do is create a to-do list. You don't need your project management certification to project manage yourself. Simply take a few minutes each morning to write down on a piece of paper what you plan to accomplish that day. Then get started. As priorities shift throughout the day and new problems arise, you can update your list. Don't forget to cross off a task each time you accomplish something. The next thing to do is communicate with those in your living space. It's critical to get the people around you involved with your goals, or at least to keep them from getting in the way. Communicate with roommates or family members when your work hours are, when you absolutely cannot be disturbed, and where your workspace is. If possible, also provide them with a list of times when you can be interrupted in case they absolutely need something from you. The next tip is to have a work browser. You can mentally associate a specific browser with work. If you do it correctly, you can trigger your brain to get started working each time you open up that browser. After you start to build the habit of working in a specific browser, your brain will be triggered that it is time to work when you see that browser. Have a second browser dedicated to leisure activities, like reading the news, playing online games, or checking social media. Your saved searches, installed widgets, and favorites that you set up as you go along in your Play browser will remind you of Play. Your saved searches, installed widgets, and favorites that you set up as you go along in your Work browser will remind you of Work. And so some browsers you might want to use are Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox. And there's a distraction-free browser called Dissenter browser that removes a lot of tracking and advertisements that's also pretty light and distraction-free. So those are some of the popular browsers you can try to download to set up a dedicated Work and a dedicated Play browser. Unless you're doing a lot of browser checking, like you're a web developer or something, you really only need two, one for work and one for play. Have a dedicated schedule. Believe it or not, one problem some remote workers can run into is burnout. Unlike an office environment, there are no visual clues to signal to you that the day is over. You don't see coworkers getting up and going home. The boss won't tell you the day is over. The lights don't go out. So some remote workers grind 10 or 11 hours a day at first. Those workers often burn out. But if you set a dedicated schedule and stick to it, you can avoid the burnout pitfall. On the flip side, some workers have trouble staying on task. Having a dedicated schedule and sticking to it helps those workers start to lose the habit of lack of focus. The next tip, number 6, is to get a good pair of noise-canceling headphones. You never have complete control over your environment. If you live near a busy street, have noisy neighbors or roommates, or your neighbor decides to invest in a home construction project, you're going to need to manage the noise. You can do this by blocking your ears with noise-canceling headphones. You can play white noise in the background if music is too distracting. Other good options to focus include lyric-free music like Vivaldi and other classical artists or trance music. Number 7, take breaks. Did you know that people who take breaks are often more efficient in the long run than people who try to work for an extended period of time without a break? Plus, it's good for you. Sitting for more than several hours without standing up is bad for your body and mind. So once every hour or so, stand up and stretch. Occasionally, take a walk or have a cup of water. Have a reward system. Give yourself a reward for accomplishing tasks. It can be a simple reward like standing up and stretching or having a sip of water, or a stronger reward like having a piece of chocolate or a sip of coffee. Associate the reward factors in your brain with accomplishments. Connect with other home workers. There are certain psychological struggles some people need to overcome when working from home. It can be lonely at times to work remotely. You can feel trapped in your home office. Or you may come across some specific struggle unique to home workers. To connect with other home workers for support and problem solving, join a remote work community like the one offered at workington.com. You can go to workington.com/register to join. Having a network of remote workers to reach out to can provide the support you need. Monitor your mind wandering. You only have control over your own mind if you choose to take control of your own mind. Focus takes discipline. You have to deliberately will your mind to focus on the tasks that need to be achieved and deliberately stop your mind from wandering. If you notice your thoughts drifting, wake up and get back to work. And if you need help finding a remote job, you can look at workington.com. That's WERKINGTON.com. We add new jobs every day that are remote positions.